You're standing in line. Your phone is at 1%. 30 seconds pass, and something strange happens inside you. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts scanning for an exit, not a physical one, a mental one. You check your pockets for a phone that isn't there. You count ceiling tiles. You replay a conversation from 3 days ago for no reason at all. This is boredom, and you've been taught to think of it as nothing, a gap, an absence of stimulation. But what if that's completely wrong? What if the discomfort you feel in that line isn't your brain malfunctioning, but your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do? In 2014, a psychologist named Timothy Wilson ran an experiment that should have been simple. He put people alone in a room with nothing to do, no phone, no book, just their thoughts for 15 minutes. Before the study began, he gave each participant one more object, a device that could deliver a mild electric shock to their wrist. Most people said they'd pay money to avoid being shocked. Then he left them alone with their thoughts. Within minutes, something unexpected happened. A significant number of participants shocked themselves, voluntarily, repeatedly, just to have something to feel other than the empty stretch of their own mind. Why would a person choose pain over stillness? To understand that, you have to go back, not decades, hundreds of thousands of years. Your ancestors didn't experience boredom the way you do. For them, an idle mind in an unfamiliar environment was a liability. If you were sitting still, doing nothing, noticing nothing, you were vulnerable to predators, to rival groups, to missed opportunities for food, water, or shelter. So, the brain developed a signal, a kind of internal alarm that triggers when your environment stops giving you anything new to process. That alarm is boredom. It isn't the absence of stimulation, it's a demand for it. Think about the last time you felt truly bored, not tired, not relaxed, bored. There was a restlessness to it, an itch behind your eyes. Your ancestors felt that exact itch when they'd been sitting in the same patch of grass too long, when the horizon hadn't changed, when nothing around them required a decision. That itch pushed them to move, to explore, to scan the tree line for movement, to wander toward a new part of the valley, to try something they hadn't tried before. The ones who felt nothing when idle, who could sit still indefinitely without discomfort, didn't survive as well. They missed the fruit tree 2 ridges over. They didn't notice the change in animal tracks. They didn't find the better water source. Boredom was never a flaw. It was a compass. But here's where it gets stranger. If boredom is just a signal telling you to seek novelty, why does it feel so specifically unpleasant? Why does it feel almost like grief? A researcher named John Eastwood, who has spent years studying boredom at York University, offers a reframe that changes the entire picture. He describes boredom not simply as understimulation, but as the uncomfortable feeling of wanting to be engaged with something and being unable to connect with anything around you. Notice the difference. It's not that nothing is happening, it's that your mind cannot find a thread to hold on to. This is why boredom hits hardest in moments that should be full, not empty. A meeting where you're present but unheard. A conversation where you're technically involved but mentally absent. A commute where the scenery moves but your attention doesn't. Your brain isn't just asking for stimulation, it's asking for meaning, for direction, for a reason to point its attention somewhere. And when it can't find one, it starts generating its own. This is the part almost nobody expects. A psychologist named Sandy Mann ran a series of studies where she deliberately made people bored before asking them to complete a creative task. In one version, participants copied numbers out of a phone book for 15 minutes, mind-numbing by design. Then she asked them to think of as many uses as possible for a plastic cup. The bored group outperformed the group that hadn't been bored first. They generated more ideas, more unusual ones. Boredom didn't shut the mind down. It sent it looking for something to build. This matches something you've probably felt but never named. Your best ideas rarely arrive when you're actively trying to have them. They show up in the shower, on a walk with no destination, staring out a train window with no podcast playing. In each of those moments, your brain is understimulated by the outside world, so it starts generating its own material. Old memories resurface, unrelated ideas start connecting. Your mind, denied external novelty, starts manufacturing internal novelty instead. This is why constant stimulation might be quietly costing you something. Think about your phone. Every time boredom starts to surface, a 5-second scroll interrupts it. The itch never fully forms. The alarm gets silenced before it can push you anywhere. You are, in a very real sense, sedating the exact system that once pushed your ancestors toward discovery. The device in your pocket didn't remove boredom, it removed your relationship with it. You still feel the first flicker of restlessness. You just never let it develop into anything, because relief is one thumb swipe away. But that flicker was never the enemy. It was the beginning of a search for something newer, deeper, or more meaningful than what's currently in front of you. Ancient humans couldn't escape that surge. There was no scroll to interrupt it, so the discomfort ran its full course and it pushed them outward into unfamiliar territory toward new solutions. You still carry that same mechanism. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just rarely allowed to finish its job. So the next time you feel that specific itchy discomfort of having nothing to do, consider what it might actually be. Not a void, not wasted time. A very old signal inherited from people who survived because they couldn't sit still with an empty mind. It's not telling you to reach for a device. It's telling you to look for something worth reaching for. You're back in that line. Your phone is still at 1%, and now it dies completely. For a moment, panic. Then something else. Your eyes start moving around the room. A conversation two people are having. A poster on the wall you've walked past 100 times but never actually read. A memory, unprompted, of something you'd forgotten you cared about. That isn't boredom failing you. That's the oldest part of your mind, finally getting the silence it needs to start working again.